Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. I want to welcome you to tonight's edition of Yes You with Friends. And let me get my friends in here. Here they come. We're so glad to have you on this fine evening. Yes, this Sunday evening. This is another day that God has made, and we're just rejoicing and we're glad in it. I hope, I want to make sure I got everybody in the stream there. So we can see Jonna, good to have you with us. Tyrone, good to have you with us. Did I put mother in? Is mother out? Is mother you it's like the hokey pokey. You put your mother in, you put your mother out, you put your mother in, and you shake them all about. Is who's did I get everybody? Okay, we're good. We're good. I don't think mother's in. Okay. All right. Me in this stream, we just having to labor in the vineyard over here. How y'all doing?
Good. How about yourself?
Good.
I am absolutely marvelous, marvelous. That's all I can say. Mother is out. I see you, Rebel. Doing absolutely marvelous, marvelous. Want to welcome tonight. I see Mino 3782. Welcome to the Lions Den tonight. Listen, one reason was with us earlier today, and he's back for another dose of the Holy Ghost. We welcome you back. One reason, and of course, tonight is not it's 2 o'clock is the sermon. We gonna clown tonight. Y'all just might as well get ready. We're gonna clown tonight. You feeling it already, sis? You feeling it? I feel you. Mino's got it going on up in there. Rebel Inc. is here with us. And of course, she had her hands filled. She had her hands full earlier this afternoon, and she took care of the Lions Den and got us straight. I appreciate you. I see Teresa Jones. I see you out there, sis. That's my 411 Connect. She always keeps me connected and up to date with what's going on. It's good to see you in the Lions Den. That being said, I'm gonna kick back and just kind of turn it over to my friends. And Jonna, Tyrone, tell me what's going on in your world today.
My world's pretty calm. This week has been all things school, so that's what we've been doing nonstop. You would think it would be done by now, but nope. Every day something else happens. So that's what we've been doing. Other than that, it's been pretty calm.
Cool. And you're getting ready for school.
Yes,
You
yes,
did
they
share
are.
that. You did share that. We're praying for the babies. We are
Yes,
praying
we
for the
are.
babies.
We are.
Lord Jesus, we praying for the babies. Truck driver, Mufasa. That's my lion right there. Welcome to the Lions Den. Come on in, sir. We get ready. Hey, brother Damon Blissett, Pastor Blissett is here. You know what? Let me back up too and let me do this. For those that are in Twitch, I want you to follow my brother. One reason I almost forgot to give this very important shout out because he is an awesome streamer. You want to get some good gospel and some good vibes, you want to go out there and visit One Reason. Honey, he's got the gospel takeover, and those soldiers, honey, they go forth. It's a beautiful, beautiful stream. They will bless your whole life. Go out there and check out One Reason. Please subscribe to his stream, follow, do all that good stuff. And then I've actually been missing, and it dawned on me this evening, Pastor Blissett. I always do the shout out for the streamers that are on the Twitch side because that's what I'm most acclimated to. But I want y'all to follow Brother Damon if you're in YouTube. Pastor Blissett has Bliss It Ministries, and I want you all to go out there and check him out. I believe he streams on Saturdays. I believe it is. You can put your time and your information and link down in there, Pastor Blissett. We appreciate having you in the stream as well. So I said, oh man, I've been discriminating against my YouTube streamers. So he is a streamer out there in YouTube. Appreciate you, my brother. Thank you for coming in. Go check him out, subscribe to his stream, and follow them. Mel Holiday, yes, I see you. Go for a ride and come back alone. She's in the room, y'all. She's in the room. She said she's really been kind of playing it down right now. She's waiting for a full moon. That's her sign to go out there when the
What? That's
yes.
wonderful. I like that.
She's active when the moon is full, y'all. Like a vampire. When the moon is full, here comes Mel. Oh my goodness. So anyway, that's my sis. That's my girl. You know I love you, girl. You know I love you. Mary Patterson is in the room. Come on in the room, Pastor. I love you. That's my cousin. That's my sis. And we call her Two Tambourines. Because baby, when she comes into church, she literally comes with two tambourines and she plays them both simultaneously. How about that? That's what I'm talking about. Two tambourines in the house. And I'm so glad to see you here this evening, sis. I love you. I love you. I love you. Thank you for putting those streams and those times down in there. And I appreciate you. And I know my mod is going to get the Twitch information in that stream. Pastor Blissett, thank you. Sundays at 10 a.m. Oh, okay. I think you may have started maybe on Saturday, or where did I get Saturday from? But Sundays at 10 a.m. Bless It Ministries, Pastor Damon Blissett. He's there, phenomenal musician. He's one of the baddest bass players you ever wanted to see. His young son is one of the baddest drummers you ever wanted to see. That boy's bad. The whole family is anointed. And his beautiful wife sings. It's just a family affair, and you will be blessed. I want you to go and check them out. Love you. Jay Betts is in here. All smiles for you, Jay. This is my baby right here. I love this brother, and he's got all kinds of energy, all kinds of talent, all kinds of expertise. The boy is just a little walking genius. I love him. I'm so glad you're here. Tyrone may need a little. He may need a little male conversation. I got Pastor Blissett in here. I got one reason we might really have a good one tonight. So Tyrone, you're not alone, baby. You got some help in the room, and truck driver. We gonna do a little something. With that being said, I'm gonna step back and tell us what's going on in your world, Tyrone.
Oh, well, it's honestly been pretty normal, just work. I'm still trying to dodge that COVID attack. I mean, the cases here are continuing to rise. Even people who are vaccinated are still contracting COVID. And of course, I work in the public, so every day it's someone tested positive, and we're constantly getting tested. So just trying to stay safe and healthy as we can. But other than that, it's been a pretty normal working week.
Come on, and I want to give it up for my nephew Tim, who made first place. He took first place in tennis. He is a little tennis player, and I'm telling you what, that brother, he's doing something down there with that tennis racket.
He is. He won his. He was in a tournament this weekend and won first place for his division. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, first place. You know we got to give it up. That's for Tim. I love it. Hey, Daniel Andre Dean said, hey, I'm here. You got all kind of reinforcements up in the room, Tyrone. They coming for you, baby. They coming for you. They coming to represent. I love it. I want to say a shout out to Michelle Brownell. Now listen, I've renamed her my Quiet Storm. She's that one that she's always in the background. And Tyrone, you do you do the comic strips? Do you do X-Men and all of that? No, or is that Tim and all of them?
Yeah. That's Tim's ministry.
Oh, okay. Well, I named her Storm. She's my quiet storm. She changes the atmosphere and the temperature and everything when she comes in the room. She's real behind the scenes, doesn't make a lot of noise, but she flies that jet plane and she changes up whatever you need to get done. That's my quiet storm. Good evening to you, baby. I appreciate you. And Nancy Jackson, there comes Scar. Now, everybody is a lion, right? So just so that my friends know, Mufasa is truck driver 57. And then Scar in The Lion King. I'm getting all of the people out of The Lion King. Nancy is my Scar. But she's a healed Scar. She's a delivered Scar. She's a good Scar. So anyway, I think we got everybody's hellos and she knows it. She knows it because she's going to clown. You're going to find out in a minute. She's going to clown. Now, before we get started, I got an opening icebreaker. Monica L. Smith is in the room. That's my baby. Nobody puts baby in the corner. How you doing, Monica? It's so good to see you. It is so good to see you. Now, I got a guest this morning. you know how they do in the church arena when they have a guest speaker, they just kind of circulate them all around the city. You know how they do. So this morning, Church of Funk, they had a special guest that the Rebel Inc. had come in for them. And so I went out there and I talked with her guest speaker and asked if she would be willing to come over here and share a little bit with us. And she said that she would. So we're just gonna give her about 3 minutes of time. She's gonna come on in here and she's gonna bless you real good. So here we go. I want you all to really sit attentively and let the Spirit minister to you as this blessed sister. Now, again, I got her from Church of Funk. Church of Funk. This is Rebels doing. This is Rebels doing here. So I want y'all to be blessed and just let the Lord bless you real good and hear the word of the Lord.
I smell the sound of hearing. I hear the smell of victory. I hear the smell of victory. I smell the sound of victory. Victory, 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 victory. I smell it. I hear it. I smell the sound of victory. I smell the sound of victory. I smell it in the rain. The rain, the rain, the rain. The rain, the rain, the rain. From Africa, Africa. A speaky dinky dinky dink, skinamarinky doo. A skinamarinky dinky dink, a skinamarinky doo. A bibbidi bibbidi boobidi bop, bibbidi bobbidi boo. From Africa.
Oh God.
Did y'all receive?
Oh, wow.
That never gets less appalling. No matter how many times I see it, I'm still
Oh, wow.
bippity boppity doo. That just
Listen, skinamarink dinky doo.
oh God.
I want to know, how do you smell the sound of victory?
But the funny part about it is the person she was imitating, I cracked up at that. Just like I do her. Both are equally entertaining. And
Listen, the Lions Den said they're not gonna raise her a love offering. Now, do y'all think that's right? That's the wrong spirit.
She needs all the coins. When that wig come off, that's it for me.
Listen, I smell the sound of I smell the sound of victory. That's gonna be one of my best ones. Then when she gets to skinamarink dinky dink, y'all know. Oh my God! Oh Lord! I just had to have her over, y'all. While she's passing out blessings.
Man.
Listen, Andre, Danny said, "Send her to Africa."
It's good stuff. I love it.
Listen, now seriously though, y'all. Now we're laughing, but what happened to Paula? Where did Paula go? Paula just disappeared.
Yeah, we haven't heard from her since, have we?
Baby, Paula did that skinamarink dinky dink, and we ain't seen her since. She called them from Africa. She called them from South America. She called them from everywhere.
But the internet's talked about her into the. I wouldn't show my face either, because I mean they let her have it, and I loved every minute of it. It was fantastic.
Oh, wait a minute. Mino got a number for us. 800-31-MARCH. He didn't want to hear from her. I mean, that is some insanity, y'all. Tyrone, did you see the original video by chance?
No, I didn't.
Oh, so you don't know the backstory here?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm scared to see the original.
Yes. So
it's pretty much the same.
She's on point. She hit the nail on the head. She really
Except
did.
the preacher that she's imitating was serious. So But
Yeah.
it's pretty much
I'm gonna have
the
to
same.
check it out.
Minus the I was gonna say minus the wig, but I don't know. I have to examine a little more closely first.
It is pretty much and okay, so yes, Monica, it's the same thing. There was an evangelical preacher by the name of Paula White who, you know, she said Donald Trump, God gave us Donald Trump and he put her in the White House as his spiritual advisor and yada yada yada. So anyway, while we were going through the election period, she basically, what you saw on that video, this woman, it pretty much imitated her to a T, literally. And she was calling angels from Africa, and she called up everybody she could call, you know,
Yeah,
on
I'm
behalf.
gonna have to check that out.
Oh, baby,
Yeah,
it is
this was
hilarious.
a few that while they were counting, I believe, the
Yes.
results for the
Yes.
election. So she had to call on the, you know, the angels from
Her
Africa.
spirits.
Listen, we ain't gonna see her because Danny Dean said Kunta Kinte and Miss Kitty done.
Miss Kitty.
She gone, y'all. She
Gone.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Listen, it's a whole mess, Pastor.
Yeah.
Biscuit. It's a whole mess. I had to put that one in there because it's one of those videos that you can see it 10,000 times and 10,000 times it's funny. Because
Mhm.
and the thing that makes it so funny to me is that she has her down to a T. She has her down to a T. It
She
takes me out.
does.
It takes
It's
me
a
out.
little bit scary, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, what are we doing here?
It might be her twin sister. But honey, at the end of the day, she got her down.
As
She
crazy as Paula is, it might have been her imitating herself.
Playing herself.
oh my God, it's the best thing ever. It is the best thing ever. Now, I just had to start and was serious, Michelle. She was serious about that thing. And then, of course, the only thing missing in this video was the man with the prayer shawl on walking across the back and forth across the stage.
Yeah, that was good too.
That was the only thing missing was the man walking back and forth with the prayer shawl. Nonetheless, I'm telling you, this is good stuff. You can't make this stuff up, Tyrone. You just can't make this stuff up. Her wig was not it had not been anchored in the Lord.
Amen.
It had not been anchored in the Lord. So at the end of the day, y'all, that was her. Was that her son really?
Yeah, I was gonna say I think that was her son doing the walking back and forth.
Walking in the back.
Mhm.
God bless them all. God bless them all. Tell me mental illness isn't real. Mental illness is real. It's
Yes,
a
it
real
is.
thing, y'all. It's a real thing. Well, listen, today I want to kind of talk about, I want to get your opinions. This is a time we've been talking about change and everything that's going on in the world. And I want to say this about the streams. One Reason, The Rebel Inc., Dr. Dady Priest, Beauty for You. Shout out to all of those. We can put their links down in there, even whether they're here or not, it doesn't matter. But I have to say, this has been a time when the streams have just really been so on point and just something powerful is happening in the streams where there's a spiritual transformation that's taking place over the earth, and I'm happy about that. Now, I'm not getting ready to get churchy. That's our 2:00, but I really want to kind of deal with the idea of the change and the transition that's happening. It's going on right now. Now, I kind of want to come from this angle because I watched a video here and this afternoon after the 2:00 session that caught my attention for some reason. I'm not going to play it, but it had a young conservative white brother on there who looked crazy, who looked like he was not mentally there. But this is what I found very interesting. Like, you guys hear me, I said something about look at people in their eyes. He was like, look at these people in their eyes. You can look at them and tell they're crazy. Now, I'm looking at him and I'm looking at him like, man, you're crazy. But nonetheless, he's saying the same thing, just on the flip side. Then everything pro-Trump, he's saying the same identical things as far as, this is a season where how can people get so deluded and how can they get so caught up and so deceived and da-da-da-da-da-da. So, I mean, I really heard everything that you would hear me say on Yes You O Cubed. I heard all of that coming from this young man, just on the very opposite side of the aisle. So this is what made me think, and I said I want to get you all's opinion. I want to get the idea from the Lions Den where you all are falling on this. It just so happened that today something also came up in Facebook about Brother Houston. I was looking for his exact name, but he is the attorney that really crafted the legislation and all of the legal work for Brown v. Board of Education. And some of my astute students, particularly history students, y'all can put his name in there. It's just escaping me right now because y'all see all this gray hair on my head. I'm getting old. I can't pull it out. And I should have stuck it in and saved it someplace where I could get to it quick, fast, and in a hurry, but I didn't. Anyway, Brother Houston is really the person. Thurgood Marshall gets a lot of the accolades for Brown v. Board of Education and the legal move there. But Brother Houston really created and crafted the framework. This is the question that I have, and I'm gonna tie all this together, hopefully, to where you can kind of answer what I'm trying to get here in a question. Here we had this legal mind that really much of the civil rights legislation, they're saying he really crafted most of that. At the end of the day, he was a follower of Marcus Garvey. Okay. He was a follower of Marcus Garvey. So just to give a little backstory on that, Marcus Garvey was our African-American brother who was like, listen, we've had enough here. Let's all pack it up and go get our own country together. And we just do our own country and live over there. So a lot of what Brother Houston was influenced by, even in the legislation that he put together to bring people of color and Black people out of the racism, out of the negativity of the lifestyle and the living we had been relegated to through slavery and Jim Crow laws. He was an advocate that we needed to be our best self, and to be our best selves, we could not, number one, look to the government to do it. Charles Houston, thank you, Michelle. You met him. Oh, girl, call in. So he was of the mindset that the victories that we want as people of color, the only way we're going to get to those victories, we're going to have to do those victories for ourselves, because the system is more than likely going to fail us. Now, having carved out that legislation. Now, if you all are not aware, a lot of the Civil Rights Act laws have actually been gutted. So to kind of get to that point of issue, what he said has almost kind of come to pass, because a lot of the work that he put in there to give us the civil rights has been gutted. And here we are. Now, when I sat and I listened to this young white brother who to me looked like he was in his mid-20s, when I listened to him so vehemently, with as much passion as I have, defending Trump and the far right, I'm like, how are we ever when is there going to be, and how can there be a meeting of the minds? Because I mean, everybody is saying the same extremism about the other side. So is this going to boil down to Black people and people of color having to basically pull our resources together, organize for ourselves, and now I ain't going to Liberia. I'm not going no place. I'm right here. I ain't going nowhere. But to really overcome the dilemma that we're currently experiencing and have been experiencing for centuries, is it going to come down to, while all this good stuff is happening on all these channels and we're all energized and we're all motivated and we're all understand we are lions, you're going to hear us roar and everything else that's out there, is it going to come down to us really needing to create our own, have our own, and let the chips fall where they may? But is that our only deliverance? Because they saying the same stuff we saying, y'all. You understand the dilemma?
That's a loaded one.
Yeah.
I heard myself in this 20-something-year-old white brother, with the exception of the fact that everything he was saying was for that conservative right. Now, why am I saying, and why did I suddenly become overwhelmed with the conscious awareness? Was Brother Houston right? Because if our 20-something-year-olds are saying this same rhetoric for the far right, these are the young folk. Now, our hope was that there was some deliverance on the way with the young folks and the younger generation seeing something differently, but they're being indoctrinated just like their parents and their grandparents before them. So I'm trying to figure out where is this going?
I don't know. I feel like 5 years ago I would have said, of course not. But after this last few years, that's a good question. That is a good question. These people, these people, they are holding on desperate for dear life to keep that supremacy and all of that going, and they're getting more and more desperate. I don't know. I have to think on this one.
Yeah, I don't think we're at a point where, I mean, it's good to have our own and create our own, which is, I mean, I would say that for any culture. I don't think the only way we're going to get some type of growth is by only creating our own. I mean, I feel like there's always going to be those people who are going to have their beliefs. And that's something we can't change. But I don't think that would stop us from continuing to grow as a people and make sure that we have the rights and the tools and the resources for us to continue to grow. And I don't think we're at a place. I'm not gonna say we're not at a place, but I don't think the only way for us to get somewhere is by totally creating our own.
Okay.
If I said that right, yeah.
Good evening, Crazy Berry Town. You said, what's the tea? Okay, so my dilemma today, after I finished my 2:00 sermon, I sat and watched a YouTube video of a young white brother that looked like he's in his mid-20s. Mid to late 20s. I'd really say mid-20s. And just as passionately as I am, and with all the different points of view that I express, he was basically my mirror image just on the white conservative side. And when I saw that young man, my question that popped up in my mind, if we're all saying the same thing and we're as separate and far apart, I mean, as far to the right as he is, I'm all the way on the opposite side, but we're all saying the same thing. How will we ever come to a middle meeting ground? Are we as people of color? Because if this is what young white conservative youth are feeling, which is the same thing that their parents and their grandparents taught, if that's really what they're thinking and feeling, are we deceiving ourselves that we expect? Because I'm gonna tell you what, I'm anxious to see what's going to happen even in these elections, because I feel now we think there's going to be a lot of changing of the guard and changing of the seats in the government. I don't know that that's going to happen, because I think there are a lot of people that, even though they are verbally saying, oh, we need change, we want change, they don't want extreme change. And to me, extreme change is to get your knee off of black folks' necks and let us get up. So they don't want that. In my opinion, I don't think that's what the masses of the country are really going for. When you start talking about privilege and white privilege, they're not trying to lose that privilege, in my opinion. I think they saw George Floyd, they were tore up. But there's a whole lot of folk being killed since and before George Floyd, and nothing happens. Nothing. Do y'all see something happening? No thing. Listen, George Floyd had I'm gonna say the blessing, and I'm saying that, you know, really, really reservedly, but he had the blessing of being witnessed by everybody in the world, because COVID had us sitting at home and everybody saw it. Now, it's not something that doesn't happen all the time. It's just something that everybody doesn't typically see in mass like we did with George Floyd, which is what gave it the power that it had. Now, without that George Floyd experience, people have been killed by the popo just the same, and nothing is happening.
So I have a question, and even for myself, I'm going to say I haven't done my research. But you remember during the whole election, and we even hit on it at times, where there was like the black contract and the black political party, not actual political party, but the party that was created by, I'd be like Puff Daddy or somebody. And then in the whole situation with like Ice Cube, I believe it was Ice Cube. And again, I haven't done my research. So
You're right.
Do we hear anything about those things anymore? Because I think we speak of change, but we really don't put into words what that change should look like.
Well, if you remember, everybody was when we had that conversation, it was in the summer of last year, because everybody in Black Lives Matter and all of those major black movement organizations were mad at Ice Cube because Ice Cube came out with this contract and they said he should have came through them and da 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 da. Now, that being said, every high-ranking person in Black Lives Matter took the money and run, because they're all gone. Every last one of them that was there last year. Now, that's facts. Y'all know how I do it. No cream, no sugar. We take this coffee strong and black because we tells it like it T-I-Z-Tis. Now, while they told and was mad, and even Roland Martin got in on it. And I was like, sit your hips down. So, you had all these black people that came against Ice Cube, and Ice Cube was saying, get the folks together, get the little people together, get the black men together, get everybody together, and let's do this and make a contract for Black America. They jaws got tight. They got mad. You should have come through us. We've been doing this for blah, blah, blah years, and we've been out here on the forefront. Y'all been taking the money and running. Y'all been doing all of that. But at the end of the day, it was all about, and the election, and the election, and the election, and the elections have come and gone. We talked about January the 20th, which had that massive insurrection, or January the 6th had the big insurrection attempt. We've had listen, Donald Trump's lips, hips, and fingertips are still walking around free. All this stuff that a year ago we were saying this and that's going to happen, and the change is here, and I do believe that. Now let me preface it. That was the sermon today, evening and morning. I believe the change is here, but I do want to provoke us, because I have to say we cannot be comfortable with the situation, because all the stuff we talked about only a year ago, none of that stuff has panned out, and all of it has just petered away, and we are looking at folks doing the same dastardly stuff with no progress.
So is that something that we have to take responsibility for, because we speak of change, but we haven't followed up on what we consider the change we need? Because we had people, as you stated, we had people who were putting things in place, whether it was the black contract, and regardless of who they went to. Yeah. We had people backing that, and then we came in and said we was upset with Ice Cube because he went through Trump and all these other things, and we were against that black contract and the avenues that he went through. So do we have some responsibility in some of the changes that we aren't seeing for us?
We talked about Ice Cube like the dog, I was proud of Ice Cube, and he stood his ground. And we talked about that a few episodes, because it was so hotly contested that he didn't go through proper channels. But have the proper channels produced anything? And like I said, I'm gonna bring up Black Lives Matter specifically. Black Lives Matter, every single person at the top of that organization is gone.
But when we can bring up Black Lives Matter, but can we bring up black people and say we're fighting for change? We want change, but we're dropping the ball in some areas ourselves.
Put a pin right there, and I'm gonna ask you to come back to how we're doing this to ourselves. And I'm not refuting you there. I just want you to hold that because I want to hear what Jonna is going to say. Diesel's in the house. I see you. Change only comes when legislation is in place to combat whatever the issue is. Well, at this point, ain't no legislation getting passed and ain't nothing getting forwarded. And it looks like even as far as what we thought we were going to get in legislation with the filibuster in place like it is, that's not going to pass either. And who knows what we're going to have to after this 2-year election, in the next election, and the cycle that we're getting ready to have. I'm not putting my eggs in that basket. That's just me personally, because that basket ain't doing diddly squat.
Now, we did have some kind of legislation put in place for which community? I can't think of it. Not for us, but it was for. Oh my gosh!
What was it for? Like, it wasn't Hispanic.
No,
Korean.
Lord
Because
have mercy.
I know what you're talking about, though.
Yeah, it was something, and this is so ridiculous that I can't remember. But remember, everybody kept posting the what?
You talking about the civil rights legislation that passed?
No, it was some for like Pastor
Asian,
Bliss
that's what it
the
was.
Asian community.
That was
And
Asian.
They got all that stuff pushed through for them, and we're still sitting here like, and that was pretty quick. Now that was they pushed that right through when all the attacks and such were happening right at the start of all of that. So that is interesting.
But the AAPI community has money.
True. And they have stick togetherness. They put their knees on the neck. Okay. They were not going to let up.
Well, at the end of the day, Jay disagrees with me. He completely disagrees with me because BLM leadership being gone. The spotlight has gone, but their work continues. Doc Melly Mel, a founder, is here in Los Angeles, still doing education legislation work. Now, that may be the case, and so I stand corrected on that. However, the young lady and the men that were most dominant and prominent. Now, he may have been, and I don't know about Doc Melly Mel because his name didn't come up as strongly in the BLM movement. You heard the other names that were coming up, and all of them are gone. Now, I do know that. Follow the money. So the AAPI, that was, they came, whether it was the racist statement about the virus that was coming out, but then when they had the direct attacks on them, then we saw an immediate legislation that passed very easily and very smoothly through the legislature. But here we cannot get the Anti-Lynching Act. We can't get that passed. The John Lewis Voting Rights Bill, we can't get that passed. We can't get any legislation that really impacts Black people. So at the end of, yes, most of the original leaders of BLM have left. Exactly, Damon. So we can't get, and I can appreciate the fact that Vice President Harris is Asian and Black, but I don't necessarily appreciate that she was vocal with the Asian prejudice. But where are you on the Black prejudice? Because we've been here for a long time, and ain't nobody saying nothing for us.
You're right about that.
I see heads shaking, but ain't nobody gonna talk to me. The hate crimes bill, that was for the Asians, but we still had an anti-lynching bill, Pastor Blissett. There was an anti-lynching bill that has been in motion for years, for decades, and they won't pass it. And they tried to get it even after George Floyd. They tried to reinvigorate it again, and it still fell dead with nothing. So at the end of the day, this is the question. If we're going to see all of this energy that we're experiencing, like I said, there's something that is happening without a doubt. transition and change is here. But I'm saying, and I'm trying to bring up the point and ask the question, where do we go from here? Because for all practical purposes, real movement and momentum is gone, in my opinion, unless y'all see something different.
I would agree with you on that, but I would also say the other side, their momentum is not gone. They are still just yesterday, and I was probably, I don't know, 3, maybe 5 minutes from your house, and I saw a truck just, going down the street with a big old flag on it that said white power, just out in the open. And I thought, wow, there's not that sense of I can be this way, but let me do it undercover. No,
Yeah.
they're moving forward with theirs.
And so what are we doing? That ultimately, that's my question. What are we doing? And I hear legislation, but legislation is not getting passed. And I'm saying, if we continue to rest on our laurels waiting for legislation, this is going to be the same thing that we had from the 60s. They passed legislation. We still saw minimal to no progress, even with the Civil Rights Act being passed, and we're still struggling. Now they've gutted that. They've completely gutted that. Now what are we doing, y'all? Because I just have to give us a shake. I read a statement. Somebody said, listen, a true prophet comforts those that are in trouble and in distress, and a true prophet distresses and causes discomfort for those that are not. Because listen, it feels like right now, to me, the Black community we're languishing, and I don't see anything happening. So I'm even like this. And now everybody in the Lions Den, y'all can put in your opinions here. And I appreciate you all that are chatting. I'm looking and I'm reading. I'm looking and I'm saying, I feel like even this whole element of sending people out with no masks and telling people and discouraging them from getting the vaccine, I feel like all of this, to me, was a ploy to kill a bunch of people, to let a bunch of people die from disease. That's the way I look at it. What else can you be trying to do? Tyrone, I see your face. To me, now y'all can say I'm radically crazy or whatever. What other outcome can you have when you will not mandate masks? You will not give the truthful facts about vaccine. You're giving all this disinformation. You're forcing little children to go. Daniel Andre Dean hit it on the nail. Population control. That's what it looks like. Now, I'm like this now. Y'all, come on now, Black folk. I need somebody to wake up, because at the end of the day, if this is a population control move, which is exactly what it looks like, I'm not going to bury my head in the sand and say, oh, my country wouldn't do that to me. Y'all's hospitals are chock full of folk with COVID that are unvaxxed and they're dying. Explain it and make it make sense. And the government, the leadership in government is the one that's mandating it.
Well, I think the comment a little extreme.
I
think a little extreme, because on both sides, we have people who on certain sides of the political views who put information out there saying, don't wear masks, COVID isn't real, don't get vaccinated. And there's consequence to that, because people listen to that and believe that. So we have to be careful sometimes when we make some statements saying that, information put out there is to kill a large group of people. So I think that was a little extreme. But I will say, from everything you said, something we talked about before, especially when we were gearing up to the election, we were, as a people, we were energized, we were motivated, we had a goal, and we fought for that goal, and we talked about over time that we got to keep that momentum going. You know, we did a lot of things as close to the election as we were doing. We were geared up and getting people out there to vote, and we talked about all these different things. And not just us, I'm just saying our community as a whole.
Yeah.
But we waited until we were at the election. We let 3 and some odd years go by of foolishness, and we waited until it was time to start the election to really gear up that base. But this is the time we need to be gearing up now. This is the time as our people, we need to be gearing up, figuring out what we want for change. Because it's one thing to say we need change and we're not seeing change. But most people probably don't even know what that change is for them. So this is the time I feel we as a people, we got to a point, we energized, we got that victory. And now we're just saying the politicians aren't doing, we're leaving it up to the politicians, and we can't afford to do that. This is the time where we need to keep that momentum going, that energy going, because we're not going to see change if we, and in my opinion, we drop the ball because we get comfortable. We got somebody in office who we thought was gonna make this change for us, so we got comfortable. We got him in there. Still ain't seen a whole lot. Not saying he hasn't done anything, but I'm saying still ain't seen a whole lot. This is the time now that we got to keep that momentum going. We need to be energized if we want change instead of waiting on someone else to make that change for us.
Thank you. Did a lot of people die though?
Yeah.
Did they know a lot of people were gonna die?
I wasn't in the room when that conversation was had.
No. I'm just saying, did they know a lot? Did they know that their actions?
It would impact a lot of people, yes. And I don't agree with people who people in my own state have put out there telling people not to wear masks now. Not the best decision, but yeah.
I feel like they're not ignorant. They knew people were going to die. And I have a hard time wrapping my brain around and trying to say they didn't know a lot of people were going to die. I think they knew a lot of people were going to die, and I think they did it on purpose. That's my opinion. And I respect your opinion as well. Jay also agrees with you. He says, no, he doesn't think it's population control. He said he feels like the right saw the real data released in the census. White population is dipping and has been doing as it's been doing for who knows how many decades now. People of color populations are booming. Republicans see the writing on the political wall. Well, I hear you, Jay, but at the end of the day, they've suppressed the vote. They've killed half of the folk off. They've shut down everything they can with regards to rights for people of color. They kill us regularly at the hands of the police. I mean, it's at the end of the day, I don't feel like the Republicans are really that worried because they just keep inch by inch getting closer to making a minority rule country. And I feel like the country at large is sitting here watching it happen. And I'm like, do y'all see what's going on? Do we see? And my thing is, if we think that the government's going to fix it, now let's go here. As Michelle said, it's an easy way for them to make money because they have stock in those medical supplies. And that is the truth. They own stock in those medical supplies. That is a direct conflict of interest. How can you own stock in the medical supply and the vaccines or actually the treatments and the therapeutics that you are pumping in these people's arms after they get sick? You have stock in that, and you did everything possible to make it absolutely necessary and inevitable that folk were going to have to take that medicine. Come on, Jonna, now somebody talk to me, because listen, make it make sense, because this ain't making no sense to me. Diesel said there's a pharmaceutical CEO with a house in that exclusive area of Miami where you have to take a boat to whose house is the most expensive, more than Gloria and Emilio Estevez, who own Miami, P. Diddy and J-Lo, just to name a few. Now let that sink in. And at the end of the day, pharmaceutical is the name of the game because they are making bank, baby. They are making bank. Come on, Jonna. Now I'm just like, you're not gonna feed me the Kool-Aid and I'm just gonna sip it up and say, that was tasty. No, it ain't tasty to me. I got a bitter taste in my mouth. Something ain't right.
Now I will agree with you there. Big Farm is a big old pimp. I mean, it's just the truth, and they've been doing this for a while. COVID is that whole thing may be new, but they've been carrying on like this for a while, a good long while with cancer, all kinds of other stuff. They make a ridiculous amount of money off of people being sick, and there's whole marketing schemes pushing certain meds to Black people, and there's a lot of money being made off of that as well. So to me, that's not a stretch at all, because now we've seen the writing on the wall for that. So it's not a stretch that there was some intelligence on it. Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. They're not ignorant. When President Obama, this is Michelle, was in the office, there was an emergency preparedness department that would have closed our borders when Asia would have reported the corona. It just is very suspicious, Michelle is saying to her, that Trump got rid of the very department that would have handled the pandemic. So, I mean, there's too much stuff. Perfect storm. No, some of this is manipulated. Some of this was already pre-planned. And there's an agenda here that I think we need to wake up to. Now, in spite of, so we don't know the agenda because we're not in the rooms and we don't know. My wake up call is to the Black community. What are we going to do? Because it's happening, unfolding right before our eyes, and it looks like we ain't doing diddly squat.
That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I think because 45 is out of the office and we're not hearing that racist rhetoric every day, right, across the airways, and then we feel like it's not there. But what I think a lot of us don't understand is that it is still there. It's just back undercover like it was before. And because we don't see it, that was one thing about him, whether he intended to or not. He brought that stuff right out front where everybody could see it. And now it's not, but it still goes. It's still going, even though we don't hear it and see it and taste and smell it all day long, like we did when he was in office.
And that's, I mean, like him or not, what was going on, we saw every day. And like John was saying, it's still going on. Mm-hmm. And I'd rather see somebody ride down the street with a whites only sign. I know that's how you get down versus you be sneaky behind my back. And that's been the political way for years. That sneakiness has happened, but they put on an image, and that's why I say, like Trump or not, he was straight up about his, and he spoke to a base.
Yeah, and there is a Netflix mini series called The Making of a Tyrant. If anybody wants to go out there and watch it, The Making of a Tyrant, I believe is the name of it. And basically they talk about the same playbook, whether it was Mussolini, whether it was Idi Amin Dada, whether it was Dada, whether it was Hitler. All of these different ones that have utilized these different efforts of becoming a political tyrant, they use the same playbook. So when you talk about when Trump came out and was just very open with it, if you think about it, it's the same as when Hitler came out and started talking about the Jews and making very, very open and overt comments about the Jews. Idi Amin Dada, he came out and talked about the I believe it was the Asian community that he was dealing with. I mean, each one of these have come out and spewed racist comments, so much so that all of them had to flee the country, and they took over their businesses, took over the people's businesses. And then the economy fell because the people weren't trained and didn't know how to keep the business running. And so then they went into an absolute devastation of the economy, because you had people trying to run these businesses that knew absolutely nothing about business. But it's the same playbook. It's like devastate, take them down, kill them off in mass. I mean, it's the same playbook. Get out here and talk about racism, because it builds a base. And one of the biggest bases that you can create is from hatred. And then the question that they always say, as a leader, do you want to be respected or do you want to be feared? And the answer of a tyrant is, we want to be feared. We don't care anything about respect. So at the end of the day, you saw 45 using all of the elements of the making of a tyrant. He just hasn't finished it off yet, and he didn't get his lips, hips, and fingertips back in there. But that's the agenda. But the whole idea, it galvanizes the people that you're speaking to because they feel that way, even though they have to act politically correct. But then when you come out and overtly do it, then I hear somebody speaking to me, and it speaks to me, and I rise up. Now I feel empowered. That's exactly what he's done, and that's exactly what the country is reeling and rocking from. And I'm sitting there looking at black folks like, what are we doing?
We've gotten comfortable, and once we got the momentum going, and it stopped. And we're gonna wait for 6 months before the next election, and then we're gonna say, come on guys, we got to get together and vote instead of pushing that ball now.
Yeah.
Instead of educating us now, instead of figuring out what change looks like for us.
I'm interested. Sheila said we must start, SK 8843, we must start now with voter registration and education plans. Our 16-year-old youth need to be ready for 2022,
Correct.
2024 elections. I agree 100%. Jay says racism requires power and must display power when it's challenged. This is why emboldened racists and leaders display their power via subjugation. I agree with that 100%. Take their voice, their vote, but them in bondage, often tons of debt, and divide and conquer. Put them in bondage, I think is what you want to say. Offer tons of debt and divide and conquer. Well, you know, that is something that depends on me doing something with other people. I'm trying to see, Daniel Dean said, white America was shown the power of black and brown people in 2019, and it scared them. So they shut down legislation that would continue empowering us, but we were shut down and we backed down. Come on. Now, that's where I am, Daniel. That's where I am, because now I want to challenge, and y'all come on and talk to me. Mm-hmm. I am not putting my eggs in the basket of law and legislation, because it's been low 1619, y'all. This is 2021. 1619, and this is 2021. Now, you explain to me how you think, even with the civil rights movement and the act that passed back in the 60s, that is now completely gutted. I'm almost wanting to scream, are y'all kidding me? Because you guys keep saying the same thing over and over again and waiting for this same deliverance. And I'm like, but you done seen already that doesn't work. It doesn't work, because even if they do de jure, then they come out de facto. The law on the book may say one thing, but they still de facto do whatever they want to do, and they're killing us. We are being slaughtered. It's genocide. And I'm just like, okay, so ultimately, I'm saying this. We're going to have to begin to look at, and I'm gonna go back to brother Houston, and I'm not going to Libya, I'm not going to Liberia, I'm not going anywhere, I'm staying right here. But I am going to say, does it not make sense that we need to begin to galvanize from the grassroots effort up, and start creating for ourselves? Because if ain't nobody else gonna look out for us, we got to look out for ourselves. And I'm not saying that in some kind of a kill somebody, ain't no kind of, y'all know I'm not espousing any kind of violence, anything like that. I'm saying we've got professional people, we've got attorneys, we've got all kinds of, if we came together, and this is why maybe I'm pushing the envelope and saying, I feel like black folk need to come together and galvanize amongst ourselves to at least, and I'm not shutting white folks out. What I'm saying is, I feel like black folk need to get our stuff together in a grassroots effort by itself, and then let everything else that you know, you can help, you can support. It doesn't have to be all black or whatever, but by all means, I feel like we need to be coming together ourselves and figuring out, how are we going to make change for ourselves? I'm not waiting for somebody else to make change for me. I'm not waiting for the legislature to make change for me, because they won't do it. And then when they do it, they don't honor it, or they gut it just like they already did. Why are we still waiting on that same method when that method has shown us it doesn't work? I can't get no understanding on that. And Mel, I'm not an eye for an eye. I don't believe in eye for an eye. Somebody said an eye for an eye and a tooth for tooth leaves everybody blind and toothless. So I'm not going for it, an eye for an eye. I want to see a world that I want to live in where I'm not oppressed and they're not going to make it so that I'm not oppressed. Then I feel like I need to make it for myself, for my children, and for my children's children, and as many as the Lord my God shall call. I'm not waiting on you to make a door and open it for my children, because you've already shown me you're not going to do it. Now your kids are getting benefits. Your kids are getting generational wealth. Your kids are getting money. Your kids are getting the best of education. Your kids, now y'all ain't buying what I'm selling. I can't get no amens up in this house. Your kids are getting the best of health care, and my babies are out here dying. And now this is another thing I want y'all to look at, because the very private schools that these wealthy elite kids are going to, these folks are getting vaxxed and wearing masks, and they sending your kids to school with nothing. Now you make that make sense.
It doesn't. You can't make that make sense.
So
it's hypocrisy. It's blatant, bold hypocrisy. And the thing is, we keep drinking the Kool-Aid. And I'm saying, when are we going to stop sipping, and when are we going to get up, and what are we going to get up and do to change our own narrative? I'm not looking for somebody to change my narrative. When are we going to change our own narrative? And what is that narrative going to be? Which is all Ice Cube was trying to say a year ago, and they dogged him out like a dog.
And that's what I'm trying to, and maybe I need to do some research on it, but why did that stop? Even though it wasn't supported by the masses, as Black people, what you want to acknowledge or not, we're going to have an issue with everything.
It wasn't supported by Black people.
So because it wasn't supported by Black people, people that did support it, it just failed. See, and I feel that's what we run into. Black people, a lot of Black people didn't support it because they heard somebody else say they didn't support it. To be honest, a lot of Black people probably can't even tell you about it. To be honest,
they didn't read it.
Right. And don't know nothing about it, but they didn't support it because they heard somebody else say they didn't support it. And that's the issue we run into. We don't do our own research, whether people want to believe it or not. Don't shoot the messenger. But I felt things like that. Even when you talked about the Black political party, we weren't trying to add a new party. It was just us getting together to be able to voice our opinion on what we need. We have a lot of laws and things put into place where someone else said, this is a law that's supposed to benefit you. So I thought those things, whether they were supported or not, would have been beneficial for us. But they've just dropped off. And they dropped off because Black people didn't support it. That's a problem. Most times when change is made, because they're faced with a lot of adversity. They're faced with a lot of pushback from people. But we still got to make it happen. We can't sit and complain that things aren't changing for us, because we get a little pushback from our people. Most of our people who gave pushback didn't even know what it was.
I agree.
And I thought those were great things that would start to get us together, where we could start to put things in place to say, this is what we need. So when we're electing these people into office, we got talking points and things to talk about and say, this is what we need as a people. But if we just let it drop because we didn't get the support of us, we can't be mad when things don't change in our favor.
Okay, but this is the thing that I'm saying. So how do we get the support? Because it does take support, Tyrone. You can't do anything without support. Listen, I've pastored a church. Let me tell you, you can't pastor a church without support. You can't do nothing without support. You're not a one-person show. If you're going to try to be a one-person show, your effectiveness and your impact is going to be extremely limited. You need support. Any vision needs a support. Just like one reason said, neither side followed through, and that is true. I followed the Black Party. I joined the Black Party, and it was good for about 2 months. And after 2 months, it fizzled to zero as far as activity and action. I looked at what Ice Cube was doing. I think Ice Cube got tired of getting dogged out, because they were dogging him out on a regular. Ice Cube just said F y'all in so many words. He was like, y'all just go to yourself and get the dildo and get the busy because I'm done. Now, on the other hand, it's like I felt sorry for him because I really felt like he was coming from a genuine place. But if you don't get support, you can't do anything. That's the bottom line. Now, ain't no need. I'm not even gonna put that into the atmosphere. If you cannot get support, it's not going anywhere. And I feel like this is part of what the establishment relies on because they know we're not going to support one another. They know we're not going to support an effort. They know that we're not going to come together. They know that we're going to get divided and point fingers at each other and bite and devour and talk about. They knew that people were going to come in there and skim off the money and get, the scenario. They're laughing the whole time they're watching it because they're watching a movement implode, not explode, implode. They know that because we just keep doing the same stupid stuff over and over again. So you've got to have some point where we wake up and we say, no, we're not going to stop. And we're going to go get some more people. And then we're going to go get some more people after that. Then we're going to go get some more people after that. And we're going to go get some more people after that. And we're going to have some action. We're not just going to talk a big talk and not walk a good walk. We're going to have some action. So I can tell you, listen, I've had scenarios and everybody, what they gonna do. And then we get ready to do it. I turn around, look, ain't nobody there. Or it's the same one or two people that end up doing everything while everybody else is waiting for the reward, but nobody wants to get out there and do the work.
Yeah. But we always gonna say we need change though.
So what are we doing to change? That's the point of this conversation tonight. What are we doing to change it? What are we going to do to change it? Because we're running out of time. It's time. We're saying it's happening. And it is, but it's not happening while we sit on our seats or do nothing, waiting on somebody else to do it. It's up to us. And so what is it that we're going to do? What are we going to do?
I don't think there would be any change until, honestly, Black people wake up. To be real.
So are we still asleep? Are we saying now we're still asleep?
We're still asleep. We're still asleep.
Jonna, do you feel like we're still asleep?
We've definitely hit the snooze button a little bit. I'm wondering why though. Why do we not follow through with this? Why is it that we don't believe that this can really happen? You understand what I'm saying? Do we not believe that we can make a change?
But that's part of the movement in tyranny, is that if you can disfranchise a people to a degree that they don't even believe that they can do anything to make a change, they're not even empowered to get up and try. That's part of the dynamic. If you can disenfranchise, whether it's voting, whether it's you name it, fill in the blank. If you can break your whoever it is that you're trying to control down to a level where they feel disenfranchised to the level that they have no power, they won't try. And that's what I'm looking at. I'm saying I'm looking right now, and it looks like we're doing a lot of talking and we're saying we want a lot of things, but I don't see anybody trying to do anything.
And I agree with that 100%.
And so what's our next move, Lions? What's our next move? Because I'm like, I ain't going out like this. I'm not going out like this. I have great nieces. I have great nephews. I have nephews. I have loved ones. I have family members. I have extended. I have friends. I don't want this for my people, and I'm not satisfied and I'm not content. And you're not going to throw me a crusty old dried up bone and say, gnaw yourself away. That's what you got for dinner. I'm not eating it. One reason said we are awake, but we don't want to do the work. We just want to keep making the problems and not offering solutions. And that's what I'm saying here. Start programs that address the community's needs. How are we going to do that, folks?
Well,
and
those were all knocked down by our own people.
Now what now? The programs?
Starting program. I mean, was that not the Black contract. I mean, those were things put into place to address our community needs, and those weren't supported by our own people.
Well, okay, and I'm going to say, because we still have issues with power struggle, because even that to me was an issue of who's going to get the credit.
And I honestly feel if a white person would have came and said, "Hey, let's get some black people together to talk about what's going on in the black community," we would have supported that whole. We all would have been there. But because we have that power struggle within our community, who's in charge, who's talking to who. I mean, it was even a thing where somebody read, I think we talked about it, somebody read the Ice Cube contract, and because of his wording, women weren't addressed, and it became such a mess. And that's sad for us.
I still see all of that as a power flex, because somebody wants to be the one in charge saying XYZ. I still see, because if you remember on that video, they were like, well, you take her and let her. And I'm like, she ain't the one that opened up the door. Why are you trying to push her through it? And she was the first one that skedaddled with the money.
Right.
Royal Confession said, we have workers that are not fighters, and we have fighters that are not workers, but we need both. What do y'all say about that? Give me some comment. We have workers that are not fighters, and we have fighters that are not workers. We need both. Speak to that.
And we do. I mean, everybody can't be a fighter. That's not everybody's ministry, and everybody's not meant to be a worker. We need both. We need people who are going to get out there and push the message, push the mission, push what we need, fight what they need to fight. But we also need the people who are going to say, that's not my ministry, but I'll put in the work. So we need both.
And we need money. And we need money to get this going.
Okay, so let's look at some alternatives here, because money to me, and I know black people, that's always a huge issue. But money to me, we do have some black people that have some money. We have some white folk that have some money. We need to start seeing what we can do to garner the money. But I want to go away from that for just a minute. Yes, that's just what I was getting ready to say. One reason our community does have money, because Danny Dean, I think, said this earlier up. Let me scroll back, but he commented that we are the largest consumer in the United States. We are the largest consumer base. We spend more money and dollars than anybody. We have money. It's just, where does our money go?
Right. It doesn't go to making change.
Like I said, Jay, I feel Jay here. He said it's not a power flex. He's still on the back on the other play. Jay, now that one, I want you to go back and see the video, because the people I'm talking about was a power flex. Some work has already been done. Best practices have been implemented. Then a Johnny come lately. And I think we got to stop the idea of, unless you were on the boat at the very beginning, you can't ride in. Because like some of the folk that been on there a long time and need to get off the boat and let some fresh blood on the boat, in my opinion. A Johnny come lately, and this idea of paying dues and when were you here and da. I don't know if I buy that, John. With the spotlight shows up asking us to go back to step one as a leader and not a learner. And I'm going to defend Ice Cube one more time. He didn't say he had to lead it. He did not say. As a matter of fact, he said, y'all come in and talk and take it over as a leader. Now, y'all saw the video. Is that correct? Because I got to defend Ice Cube. I'm not going to let him go down in flames like that. He was not trying to be the leader. He was not trying to take the spotlight. He was just trying to get something moving.
Right.
Because he wasn't, as you say, because he was, let me use that terminology, a Johnny come lately. They basically poo-pooed on him. And he said, I'm open to anybody and everybody. I don't know how much more humble the man could have been, because I watched it with my own eyes. I watched it. I ain't talking about what I heard. I watched it, and we showed parts of it on this podcast. Did we not?
We did.
So no. Y'all not gonna do Ice Cube like that. He may not have been all right. I'm not saying everything was perfect, but I feel like his approach was an humble approach that he was just trying to get something moving. That's all he was trying to do, was get something moving. And then you get people, and listen, I'm telling you what, that burns my goat when young people or young ideas or young energy comes to the table, and then you got people want to start talking about Johnny come lately. Sit down. Because you've been occupying that space in that chair all this time and have not accomplished too much of anything. In some instances, not with everybody, but there are some people that are taking up space and occupying it, but they're not really effective. So, you know, I think we have to look at stuff like that. He wanted to give some direction and move, one reason. And we pulled his videos in, we watched it, we looked at the contract, all of that. And he was getting a lot of dog. He was getting a lot of dog from a lot of people that had either not read the contract or they were not watching what he was doing. But he opened himself up to everybody, and nobody wanted to align themselves with them unless they were in charge. And I'm like, this, you've been in charge all this time and you ain't been able to accomplish what he accomplished in 2 weeks. Sit down somewhere.
Yeah.
Y'all talk to me, because I'm chit-chatting away here, but
I mean, it was the truth though. Like I said, he was open himself to it. Like I remember an interview with one of the groups.
Oh yes.
Where the conversation was like, well, you didn't include Black women. Well, he was like, well, help me write it. Like he wasn't saying this is it, I'm in charge, this is what Black people want. He was just setting a framework for something that we didn't have at the time, and was opening himself up to anyone who wanted to participate, because we all have different ones.
And we still don't have it.
And we still don't have it.
That's what I'm saying, y'all. How long are we gonna sit here and nothing? It's where is it gonna happen from? And this is all I'm saying. I'm not asking because, you know, God bless her, Kamala came out, made her comment about the Asian community. I appreciate that. But we've been in this struggle for centuries. And ain't nobody still came to say nothing for us. I'll speak for myself. I got 2 lips, a tongue, and a mouth. I'll speak for myself. But I'll speak for myself with my people. And I'm going to say to my people, we need to come together and galvanize and begin to set up what is the world that we want to see, because nobody else has a vision for us. But you can't see a vision for me because you're not me and you don't care. But at the end of the day, I care about you, my Black brother. I care about you, my Black sister. I care about my white sister, my AAPI, my natives. I care about everybody. But everybody else, listen, at the end of the day, I feel like we need, come on, Doglegs, we need to get excited about us. And it's not an exclusion, but I'm saying I want us to see that we have got to get some kind of momentum moving forward, or else we're going to be in this same predicament 50 years from now.
So how do we do that? How do we create that momentum in us that sticks? Because we can get it going, it just does not stick. So how do we do that?
Tyrone.
I would say it starts with us, and it starts with our friend circles. It starts with our family circles, where we really need to get engaged in that conversation to really start that momentum at the bottom with us. When you're with your friends, when you're with your family, really engage in that conversation of what do you want to see for your people? What do you want to see for you? What does change look like for you? To really start to get that conversation going and really get involved in our politics. Whether it's small down at the homeowners association, the high school association, whatever it is, we have to be involved, because we have people making laws and rules for us that they think is appropriate for us. And they think this is pushing us into another direction, when no one can make a decision for us better than we can. So we really need to start to engage in that conversation with even our small circles,
Come on.
people we live with. All that.
Now you're talking my language. Now you're talking what my ears want to hear. Small groups, because sometimes we bite off a piece that's bigger than what we can deal with. And the grandiose is not always the place to start. Small groups. Yes. One reason. Come on here. It doesn't have to be nationwide. We can each start in our own community. So the question becomes, what are we doing in our own individual communities, and what do we want to see change in our communities? Come on here. Small groups and community-oriented neighborhoods. How can we start changing the neighborhoods? How can we start? We have to break the chains of slavery that still exist amongst us. It has been passed down for centuries, and it's still being passed down. We've got to break the chain. Now y'all talking the kind of talk I want to hear up in here. That's the kind of stuff I want to hear. Now keep talking. Y'all talking good to me now. You're talking good to me. Johnny, come on and jump in.
I love that comment from Danny about breaking the chains. And I think a big part of that is, even with us, we don't recognize so much of it. And we've got to be able to first be able to identify it, because so much of it we don't even realize comes from slavery, and it's changed into a culture that's just who we are. But is it? No, it's not. We're just repeating that same behavior over and over again. But that was a good one. We've got to be able to see it before we can break it, and that is a huge obstacle, in my opinion, for us. Even this whole thing about not being able to stick and move with this thing and keep it going, that to me is a trauma response, because you just don't believe in ourselves enough to move, to keep moving. We don't believe we have a voice, because it's been silenced since we got here.
Come on.
And even that was small groups, and it just got bigger and bigger, and now it's a whole culture.
Come on.
Mistrust comes from slavery. Absolutely. We don't trust anybody, not even ourselves.
Come on. We don't trust ourselves with our own power. We don't trust ourselves.
We don't realize how huge that power is.
Oh my God.
It is huge.
In every direction.
In every direction. It is huge.
Dogleg says, I think we have done that in some areas, but how do we stand steadfast and make it happen? I agree. We got to keep doing it, and it's got to grow. And this is one thing. It's almost like my dad said, how does a forest fire keep going? Many times it's because of the livestock. People don't realize that, but it's because of the livestock. The livestock catch on fire, and they keep running through the forest, and every place they go, they're setting another spot on fire. So I feel like we almost have to have that same type of scenario. How do we keep the movement, the momentum, the energy going? We got to catch on fire, and we got to do it right here in my spot. But I can't just stay in my spot. Once my spot has seen some change and progress, then I got to take it to the next spot and the next spot and the next spot, and just keep allowing it to grow. Even if it's no more than feeding the idea to somebody over at the next spot, giving them the information, giving them the knowledge, giving them the know-how. But we got to keep spreading it and spreading it and spreading it. And that's what I talk about. I want to, come on, when we see the results, then they want to hop on. Exactly one reason. But this is what we got to do. I'm not worried about the latecomers. I told somebody, I see the vision for me as like a train. I always give the example that you have the front of the train and then you have the end of the train. And that train can be 7-8 miles long, just one train. I can be at the front of the train, and when I pass that sensor, it's 8 miles before the back of the train or end of the train catches up to that sensor. It's still attached to me, but it's 8 whole miles before they get there. And I've gone on 8 miles further. I feel like that's the way we can do things if we understand. I'm not throwing anybody off the train. Jump on the train. I don't care. Maybe you're at the end of the train. But listen, everybody get on the train and let's get this party started and let's get this thing moving so we can start to set up, start some small nonprofits. Start some learning schools, after school program, start some learning centers, and then let's see results. Let's keep working until we see results, because they can't stop us from doing that, y'all. They can't stop us from doing that. The only thing that will stop us from doing that is we won't do it. Do you understand the word? I'm not talking about legislation. I'm not talking about whether or not it's on the books. I'm not talking, because listen, we've been all of this time since 1619 and it still ain't on the books. How much longer are we going to wait? It's not in those elected officials totally. It's not on whether or not we got legislation and laws. It's about, will we get up and do the work? Will we do it?
And we can't be discouraged when we don't get the support we think we need.
We've got to change the mindset and the mentality, because it's unfair for some people. And I'm gonna just tell it. I'm gonna just keep it real. It's unfair to get out here and do a truckload of work individually, and folks want to kick back and rest on their laurels and not contribute to the cause. I feel like we need to talk to people's mindsets and mentality. If you can sit back and not contribute, if you can sit back and not get up and put in, you may not have the same thing that the next person has, but you have something. If you can sit back and do nothing, then we need to deal with people's mentality. Why are you comfortable to do nothing when your brothers and your sisters and your daughters and your sons are out here laboring and you kick back taking a chill? Something is wrong. We need to challenge people at the core. What are you about? Because at the end of the day, if you're really not about making this place better, then hey, I don't know what to say for you. I don't know what to say for you. But then at the end of the day, I'm going to tell it, and I'm going to tell it real. There's a whole lot of black people out here that are selfish. There are a whole lot of black people out here that don't care about anybody but themselves. And unless it impacts their world and their lives, they don't care. And if you can see a brother, a sister, or somebody in a struggle and don't care and won't participate and won't help when you can, you got to look inside of yourself and say, what's going on inside of me?
Right.
But it is some selfish people out here. So that's real. We need to deal with that. We need to deal with that.
Yeah.
So, hey, Dogleg said, sometimes those we think can help, their back becomes slack. And that's exactly the truth. SK, I'm calling it out. I'm calling it out. And yes, keep the train connected. I see you. Nobody is surplus. We need everyone who's willing to work. And I think that's unfortunate that we have killed many of people because we treat them as if they're surplus. You're going to give everything you got, and because everybody can think of one. We're going to use that person to give everything they got, because they always, when the chips are down, they reach down somewhere and find some more, and they come up with it. You know what? That's how people have strokes, dies, and get up out of here. Because they always the person that's got to reach down in that surplus and come up with some more. When it's 5 people on both sides that could have done something to take some of the slack off that one, and they'll sit there and do nothing and be comfortable and then be mad when they don't get what they want, when they want it, how they want it, but you ain't contributed nothing. You want to come to the bank and get a withdrawal, but you ain't deposited nothing in. We need to address that. That's a mindset and a mentality. It's killing us, and it's killing the workers that will work. And then y'all be like, oh, she was a good woman. Oh, he was a good. Y'all killed them. Y'all ain't ready for me. Selfishness is the bane of our society. Come on here, main man. Selfish. Come on, Michelle. I don't have that kind of heart, so it's hard for me to understand. I don't either, Michelle. I look at people that do nothing, and it just absolutely drives me over the edge and the ledge. I'm like, how can you sit there and do absolutely positively nothing and feel comfortable and then complain and talk when stuff doesn't go the way that you want it to go? But you did nothing. And so even when you talk about money, this is what I want us to understand. There were days and times in the Black community when they understood barter, B-A-R-T-E-R. What you don't have money for, you can barter. So listen, if you've got a skill, if you've got an ability, if you can come in and if you can offer this for the cause, and I'm not saying don't pay your workers and don't pay the labor, but I'm saying at the same time, there were a lot of people when blacks were affluent back in the day, they would all galvanize and come together. And if I could lay bricks, I laid your bricks. If I could lay whatever, everybody came and they bartered, and it wasn't a matter of I'm just going to give and you're just sucking in my resources and my talent and my gift, but then whatever your expertise was, you gave back to me. And so there was an even exchange that was going on all the time. We can barter. Everything does not have to be money. Sometimes it can be an exchange of services. Sometimes it can be gifts in kind. Sometimes it can be so many other things. So we don't sit back and say, I ain't got no money. Well, if you wasn't charging somebody $5,000, maybe we could get it done.
Yeah.
There you go, SK. I got potatoes, you got greens, we both gonna eat. Those days and those times seem like they have evaporated into no man's land.
Yeah.
You're right about that.
And so
don't do it.
Well, why? But this is the thing. So I'm saying this is how we start changing the narrative. Let's go back to some of that stuff that we did in the community back in the day. Come on, y'all. I know even at the church that I came from, we had poor people. They didn't have any money. But guess what? It wasn't even about having money. They would bring whatever kind of food stuff they had in their house, and whoever needed it in the church could get it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But times have changed.
But we can change it back.
And that would be amazing. I mean, because as a people, we are some of the most creative, intelligent, smart people out there. We keep this country rolling. And if we came together and put our resources together, our skills, our talents together, we could change this thing. Like, seriously. But we're not at a place. It's not like it used to be. And we're all in I got this skill, I got that skill. In order for me to help you with that skill, I'm gonna charge you $5,000. But if we came together as a people and put our talents, our skills, our money, all that together, we could change this thing up.
And we're gonna do it. Yes,
that's the prayer.
I ain't listen. Some stuff I ain't got to pray for. You get up off your knees, get up off of your rusty, dirty, ashy knees and do it. Talking about I'm praying. Get up off of your rusty, dirty, nasty, ashy knees and do it. You ain't got to pray for that. If you got the strength to do it, then do it.
Yeah.
You ain't got to pray and ask the Lord, can I do good? Really? I got to pray and ask the Lord, can I do some good?
You can pray and ask the Lord for someone to join you in doing good.
Oh, yeah, I can pray for that. In the meantime, I'm going to go out and I'm going to roar and I'm going to see if some more of the lions respond. But listen, I ain't got to pray to do good. I don't have to pray to do good for others. And you know, I don't go out and toot my horn, but listen, I'm not telling anything. I'm not suggesting anything that I don't do myself. And I know it can be done, but we need more people. We need more workers. We need more laborers in the vineyard. And at the end of the day, we're looking at a ship that's going down in flames, and we ain't going down like that. I refuse to let this ship go down. We ain't going down like that. This ship is too good. This ship is too valuable. This ship has too much on it to just go down in flames, but it ain't going to just save itself. We're going to have to save the ship.
Yeah. So we got some work to do, but we can do it because together we can do anything.
We can. We can. Dogleg said, when we learn to work together, we are so much better together. And it really doesn't matter who gets the credit. It's a we thing. Absolutely.
Right.
Us, you, we, me, all. That's the last thing we say on the podcast. Us, you, we, me, all in the mornings, because it's a we thing. Come on. We've got to roar, Shelly Thunder. Come on, Shelly Thunder. You done snuck in on me. I didn't see you.
She came in late.
Tyrone's calling you out, girl. He's calling you out. He said you came in late. You came in late, but that's okay. Shelly Thunder's in the room. Now, I see y'all roar. Come on with that roar. Come on, Tall Pumps. Come on. So dang, Tyrone, you just busted her out like that. Teach your children. Come on, SK, because I've never seen such selfish kids in all my life. Oh my God. You can have an elderly person that can barely stand up and your child's lips, hips, and fingertips won't even get up and say, do you need a chair? I just can't understand it. We've got to start with the children as well, because it's not a matter of them just picking it up by osmosis. They have to be trained, and we've got to come to a point where we begin. I got a call coming in from Royal Confessions. Let me see. I don't know if I got this on. Honey, listen. Hold on just a second. Let me see. Are you there, dear?
I'm here.
Can y'all hear her?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. They can hear you.
Have to be trained. She's still talking. Are they waiting on me?
Yes. Go right ahead.
Okay.
You might have to turn your radio down because we can hear you. It's going to come feedback. So,
okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
I just want to say all this month on all the podcasts, the morning, the Rebel, and now this one, we've been talking about manifest. Everything we need to do is about manifest, and including the topic tonight. You're probably thinking, why manifest? Because if you have a vision to get this thing started in your community, we can't be waiting about who's going to support, who's not. We got to believe in it till it manifests for you. We can't overthink about how it's going to happen. We can't worry about when it's going to happen. We just got to believe it's going to happen. We got to get out there and we got to work it. The people will come. But you can't give up on your own vision. You can't give up on your own dream. We're talking about the Ice Cube thing. Yes, the negativity came, but you can't give up on your dream. You got to stay in the fight until it manifests. That's the word we've been dealing with for the last month, and that goes for every area in our lives. It's going to manifest, and we've got to fight, work and fight. We can't give up, and we can't be worried about the naysayers. There's going to always be naysayers, black and white, always. But if that's your vision, you got to hold on. You got to walk it out. Hold on and wait till it manifests. Thank you.
How you like them apples? Did y'all get that? You got to walk it out and let it manifest. Now, y'all give me some response on that. Y'all give me some response.
I mean, I totally agree. That's what I was saying earlier. I mean, we had things put in place. It got hit. It was faced with a lot of backlash and people didn't support, and it dropped. And that's a pattern for us. Mm-hmm. If you have a mission and you have a goal, you got to get out there. You make it happen. You not most times in our community is not going to be supported in the beginning. Most people who do great things for us aren't supported in the beginning. But that was their mission, that was their purpose, that was their goal, and they fought it out. And you got to keep that thing going.
Yeah, stay in the fight until it manifests. There's nothing else to be said. That's a powerful word. Stay in it.
Come on.
Even when it doesn't feel good, even when it doesn't look like we're winning, we have to stay in it until you see what you've already seen. If that makes sense.
Yes.
If you pastor in a church and on Sunday you get there, you're the only person in the room. You still preach that message because you're gonna manifest that I'm reaching the masses.
Oh, baby, I've already lived that, honey. I did the whole thing, honey. I sang, I prayed, I preached. I was the choir. I was the praise team of one. I was the clean the chairs and clean the floor. I lived that thing. So but I also am going to say this. I also, because I have lived that, I'm also going to say, if you're going to support. And
Correct.
it's unfair to expect somebody to carry something if you're not going to support. It's two sides to that coin. So the same way that you have that expectation of something coming forth, it's still got to be, it's a two-sided thing. And so at the end of the day, though, I'm like this. I don't have a problem with, I'm going to be out there by myself, and I'll be out there and I'll do it and I'll sing it. I'll play it. I'll pray it. I'll praise it. But this is the thing. So let me put that thing in perspective, because this is the thing, which I have no problem with that. But then at the same time, when they sick, when they need to be buried, when they need to get married, when they need to do everything under the sun, those same people that have not supported you will call your number. And guess what? I show up.
Because that's your passion.
That's my passion. But
Right.
is it right?
And it's not right. And it's not right.
Okay.
But when it's our passion, we gonna make it happen.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But it's not right when people don't support, but then they reach out to you when they need your support.
Well, yeah, but I do it anyway because I know this is people's behavior. I know that's their behavior, and this is what I'm called to do, and I don't do it grievously. But what I'm trying to do, there does need to be a balance, because that's abuse. People don't think about abuse to the pastor. That's abuse. Y'all want leaders and preachers and people that are out here in the front. Y'all want us to take abuse, and you think that's okay. That is a slavery mentality. If you don't care about your leadership being abused, I need you to check your heart, because that's abuse. I would not leave you out there. Why would you leave your leader out there just because they're the leader?
Yeah.
It's a two-way street. And this is the day and time where accountability. And SK's here to support the vision. It's our community. Accountability. So the same way, why do I show up? Because I feel like I'm accountable to you. Because I am accountable to you.
Mm-hmm.
But you're also accountable in reverse. But the thing is, we feel like it's okay in the community not to be accountable, but we want our leaders to be accountable. And that's abuse. Just plain and simple, that's abuse.
Yeah.
Rhonda, thank you for that word.
I feel we're the hardest on our own people.
Yeah, it's hard. We've killed many preachers. Mm-hmm. We've killed many leaders. We've killed many folks that get out there in the front with their vision and their passion. And at the end of the day, just like Royal Confession said, you got to get out there and make it happen anyway. Because if that's what God has given you, so hey, your pastor said today it's Halloween in the church year round. And listen, I get hard on pastors and ministers because I am in the clergy. Y'all know I do. But if I really told the truth on the other side, from pastor's position to the congregation, I could tell y'all some stories that's just absolutely unbelievable. Because at the end of the day, it is Halloween all year round. And you got to love them jokers if they come in looking like Freddy Krueger, if they come in looking like Sabrina the Teenage Witch, if they go whatever, however they come in dressed up as, that's what you got to take that Sunday and smile and keep it rolling. But baby, it's some stuff up in there that these pastors and leaders deal with, and we keep rolling. But that's I see the pumpkin heads. It's some stuff. And so I have to, I do get hard. Y'all hear me talk hard and heavy about pastors, and I do. But at the same time, I got to tell the truth on the other side of the coin. We put up with some dog poo-poo, and we keep on smiling and loving anyway.
Yeah.
And I feel like even here, and so I'm speaking this not just because of myself, but I'm speaking to each of you as those that feel a call to really get up and do something in this hour. So I posted something. A true prophet comforts the afflicted and afflicts the comfortable. I want you to write that down if you're at home. A true prophet comforts the afflicted and afflicts the comfortable. Now, somebody be like, I'm not a prophet. I'm talking about for this movement and for this time and for this hour and for this season of transition and change that's coming on. I want us to understand you are called in this hour. And yes, that's that the whole essence of this podcast. Nobody's exempt and we're all working together. No big eyes, no little U's. It all works together. So I want us to understand that we're called to comfort the afflicted and to afflict the comfortable. And so tonight, my agenda here was to hopefully afflict the comfortable. And I hope that you will also afflict the comfortable, because at the end of the day, we've got to galvanize and we've got to come together and we've got to move this thing forward to create the energy and the change that we want to see. And it starts with us individually. It starts with each one of us individually. We got to just jump in there and do it. Do what you know you're called to do. But then for those that can, and you know, I tell people all the time, it's so many things. You don't have to ask me to help you. If I see you need help, I'm just going to help. And I wish more of us would take that. And it's like, I don't care. It doesn't matter. Title on my name, this, that none of that means anything. I am a human being. If I can help you, I'm going to help. And I hope that we'll start to see that kind of attitude really take over our community and just steamroll it. I mean, just steamroll it with care and concern and watch the transformation that happens. I believe that. So that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to let Tyrone and Jonna, you all come on with some last words. I want to appreciate everybody that's in this chat, because I mean, you all have said some really, really good stuff. You have said some really good stuff over here in this chat. And at the end of the day, as Rhonda said, get that sound in your ear and then manifest. Manifest is that word. This is time for manifestation, and it is happening. It is happening. It turns to we turns into us. Come on here. That's my preacher anyway. That's my preaching baby. Come on here and give the word. It turns to we, and we turns into us. Come on with that. And with that, appreciate y'all. Your mama's words, no big and little you. No big eyes and little U's. That's what they used to say back in the day. Crazy Berry Town. Do I need to start calling you First Lady? Crazy Berry Town is my girl. Listen, she is a phenomenal streamer. I've been teaching y'all, get your bodies in shape. She does Zumba, y'all. She does Zumba on Twitch. Y'all get in here and get this Zumba with my sister, because we're getting ourselves together. We're getting our bodies right. We're getting our minds right. We're getting everything right. Everything that concerns us, we're pulling it together. I love you, sis. Thank you so much for lurking. Love you so much. All right, we're going to listen to Jonna and Dwayne and First Lady. Do I need to say First Lady? All right, Jonna, Tyrone, y'all come on and bring us on out of here. Again, thank you to everybody that's in this chat. I love y'all. I really do.
My last words is just to repeat what Rhonda said. It struck a chord with me. Stay in the fight until it manifests. We got to do it. And I feel like a lot of times we don't, but whatever the reason for that is, we need to refresh and stay in the fight until it manifests. I'm sorry, Shelly tickled me.
Who's Dwayne?
Dwayne's not here.
I'm sorry, Dwayne is her husband. I got confused. Y'all know I'm old. Y'all know I'm old. I had to put her with the right man. Okay.
Right.
Go ahead, baby.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tyrone. That's it for me. You know, stay in there until it manifests.
I missed it. I missed it. Say it again, because I missed it.
Well, I was just repeating what Rhonda said that struck a chord with me, is stay in the fight. That's where we kind of lose it. And we got to stay in there. We got to hold each other up while we stay in there and make each other accountable to stay in the fight. I think that's where we lose it at a lot of times, even individually. You know, like we just said, it can start with you. Pull that next person in your house and into the community. and it grows from there. We got to stay in it until all of these visions and seeds, everything grows. We just got to stay in it. Just stay in it. Hold on until it manifests.
Come on. That's a good word. That's a good word. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Tyrone.
And I will say, like, these conversations are needed where we can identify some areas that we need some improvement in, but also identify areas that we need to see a lot of change. So I felt this conversation was really good because we talked about, the change we need and how we need to get there. And it's very impactful for us as a community because I feel a lot of times we underestimate ourselves on just how amazing we are and how impactful we can be with ourselves. We don't have to wait for anybody else to make change for us. We can make change and start that will of making change for ourselves. And we have the power, we have the tools, we have the creativity, we have all of that. We just have to believe in us.
Yes.
And when we get to that point of believing in us, we'll change this thing up. We just got to get to that point. And so believe in yourself because I believe in you.
Come on here. Oh, Tyrone. Wasn't that just beautiful? Wasn't that just beautiful? Wasn't that just beautiful?
Tyrone, you stole them lyrics.
Right.
It still works though. It still works.
Listen, I want to say thank you to Royal Confessions for calling in. We miss you, sis. We miss your beautiful face on Friends. Your friends miss you, girl. But at the same time, honey, take all the time you need. Thank you for the call in. Always a word in season and a timely word at that. BTD mom said, you go, Tyrone. And come on, Mel said she's in it to win it. I'm not mad at y'all. Now, the same way we've energized tonight, I hope that you all are going to write the vision and make it plain. Write some stuff down. As One Reason said, y'all can go out there and you can start a learning center. You can start an after school program. You can, everything boils down to you. You can do it. It's not about what everybody else is or isn't doing. What are you doing? I want you to take a personal assessment. Take a personal inventory. What gifts God has given you? What can you give back to the people? What do you have to offer out? And then I want y'all to get started because listen, we've got to act. We've got to activate. We've got to galvanize. We've got to come together. And it starts with you. Yes, you. I appreciate you for being here tonight. I appreciate my friends who always come in and bless us tremendously. Everybody in the chat, I love you. I love you. I love you. We're getting ready to get up out of here. We're going to be rating somebody. My moderator is going to take us somewhere. I don't know where we're going, but we're going somewhere. But for those that can and will ride the raid train if you're in Twitch. Pastor Blissett, appreciate you, man. Everybody out there in YouTube, everybody out there in Facebook. So I appreciate wherever you are joining this stream because we do stream simultaneously. Thank you so much for coming in. We love you with the love of God. To my moderator, I can't give it up. The Rebel Inc., you do such awesome work keeping this stream on point. Michelle, Shelly Thunder, I appreciate all of you guys. Mod love for Mod Love. I love you guys. Listen, peace for your journey, and we'll catch y'all the next time around. I love you so much. We're gonna get y'all out of here, and we're gonna roll out. All right. Love you. Peace for your journey. Have a good one.